And we do it live. All right.
Are we live?
Oh, we're live. And live and in person to talk about the greatest Predator movie anyone's ever seen.
Are you sure about that?
No, actually, I'm not sure about that. I do like it better than the previous, though.
Hmm,
Um,
interesting.
what was funny, though, I think, because overall, um, there's something about these movies that I noticed as well. With I think that I don't know if it's a trend. I mean, it's two movies. I don't know if you can call it a trend, but both of these movies are like average at best until the last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And they just fucking explode and I'm like, "Oh, baby, this is it. This is what I've been waiting on the whole time." And I don't know if that's by design or not. But definitely the first half of the movie, I was like, it's just a classic, like late '80s, early '90s buddy cop. Like, I was like, you don't even need the Predator. I was like, if you took the Predator completely out of the movie and Predator related things and just had it be like a gangster.
No one
Or...
asked me transferred. That's what scares me about this.
I love it.
You don't follow the rules.
Right? It really was just like somebody was like, how the fuck do we get to a showdown between the Predator and a badass dude? I don't know. And they just looked around at like current media and said, "Oh,
Yeah.
here's a good one, a buddy cop." And they just used it as like a front, as if Predator's drugs.
He
They
took
used
that
it
shot
as a
that,
front for
Arnold
their
took
operation.
That went straight through what's his face.
Hmm?
He took that same shot. You see, so Arnold wasn't the only one.
For what one?
The shot that went straight through uh the wrestler. I forgot his name. For a
Oh yeah,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, that Arnold just fucking tanked. The the cop in this one tanked that one too.
Shit, they're just built different, I guess.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, when it got to the Predator bits, it was cool. I guess that's
Mhm.
expected though. Predator's really cool too. I definitely thought he was cooler in this one than the previous one.
Oh yeah.
I don't
He
know
wasn't as
why.
much of a little bitch.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what it was. He was more of a badass dude. Like, and he was also hunting down people. I mean, it was still, I'm using fancy technology and I'm invisible and I literally just hit everyone from the back. But at least it looked cool when he was taking on like a bunch of dudes with guns and gangsters and shit. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's
Mm.
kind of cool. It felt more like a battle, and this is I think why the end of the movie is so good and why the first bit sucks. Because the coolest part, from at least from my takeaway from this, not having seen these two movies, like the best part of Predator anything is when that fucker's going toe to toe with somebody. Like
Mhm.
that's what makes it cool. Like him or it versus the fucking whatever the fuck it's hunting. That's the juice. That's the delicious meat and potatoes that makes up like all the other fucking great parts of this. So any point when he's not, I think is when I just don't like the movie as much or the character as much. Any time where it's like, hey, 5 armored goons didn't put up a fight and he shot them all in the back from the rooftops while being invisible. And it's just not cool. Like that shit sucks. I'm like, that's kind of whack, dude. Like they literally weren't even prepared to defend themselves, and it just wasn't cool. But then any moment when like they're really fucking scrapping, it's like, oh yeah. Even the moment when these fuckers are, they're not no chance they're gonna win. Like when King Willie just busts out the fucking sword from the cane. Really cool character design, by the way. I don't know that weird breastplate he had. Other than the weird breastplate, that fucker looked awesome. um, but yeah, he pulls out the cane and says, "Let's go, motherfucker." I'm like, oh hell yeah. And then the dude, the redneck cop. Oh man. What did he say? Hold on, I haven't busted out the notes yet. We're just fucking flying on the seat of my ass right now. Let me.
Was redneck cop the fucking pretty boy?
Yeah. He said, "Well, how you doing?" or something. He wasn't
Was he
redneck in the
redneck?
beginning, but he started to get a country accent halfway through.
Mm.
What did he say? Um, yeah, he said, "Let's dance, motherfucker."
I found that kind of cheesy.
I said, "Oh shit." I loved it, dude. And he threw the fucking golf ball at him. I said, "Bro, what are you?"
The Mexican girl live? I don't
Huh?
remember. The Mexican girl live? Did he let her
Yeah.
live or did he kill her?
She went to the hospital. She had a baby, and that plot line never came back.
Maybe it was like, maybe they respect life. I don't know.
I don't know.
It was a innocent. It was not an innocent, but it was like a helpless thing. So they didn't want to kill it because it would see it as like a stain on itself. I don't know.
I guess I could see that, right? Because it was. I think you think about a hunter in real life. If it sees like they don't kill like mom deers if it's like with the
Yeah, no.
kids, right?
They're only allowed to kill bucks. Yeah.
Right. So you got like a mom deer walking around with the kids. You're not going to shoot her. She's raising the kids. Or even worse, if she was pregnant.
Some people do, and they get arrested for it.
Right. So it's frowned upon, right?
Yeah.
So I would imagine if they're basing this off our style of hunting, that it would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, like you're not supposed to, even though she was a lady and she was dangerous and she would have killed you. Once you had the upper hand, it's like, well, now it's my responsibility to not do so. I already won.
Yeah.
Because yeah, he did like scan the thing and saw the little biscuit in that oven. But what else? Oh yeah, cool guy though. Yeah, he fucking throws the stupid golf ball. But yeah, like when he's fighting these people,
The golf ball part was weird. I was like, what the fuck?
I love it, dude. I don't know where the golf ball came from. I think he said it earlier. He said, "I'm good at luck," and he threw the golf ball up, and I was like, "Is it a lucky golf ball?" Like,
I don't. Maybe it is. I guess. I was like, I felt like I missed a scene. I was like, where did he get the golf ball?
right. The only time I think we see it is in the bar when he says,
Yeah.
"Track this guy down," and he just fucking like throws it up and catches it. So maybe he was a golfer in his day. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe.
but yeah, I don't think that the first half of the movie, same as the previous, Predator just running around killing people without a fight back. That shit sucks. It's just fucking whack. But when he gets going, oh baby, and when they have at least a standoff, oh yeah, that shit's cool. And I think one of the things we didn't get in the previous one, that I didn't like was him and Billy. I remember complaining about that, but I think it was because it was off screen. Like he does the whole setup, and he's like, "Yeah, come at me, motherfucker," and then like it just cuts off screen, and he's screaming and dead. I think it was extremely unceremonious because I think that maybe that's was the issue because I didn't like it, but when I watched this dude who's much less cooler and much less badass say, "Let's dance, motherfucker," I said, "Oh yeah," and then he just fucking kills him. But it was cool. I think it's because we got to see the bravado, the manliness, the fight, even though there wasn't much of a fight. It made it feel like there was, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's something I think to be said. But then I was wondering, like, if that's going to be the general, like, consensus I have about the series, then how the fuck do you get from A to B, right? Because I think so far the first two movies have just felt like, okay, we need to waffle about and do some bullshit so we can have these two fight. And it's just been sort of like a placeholder, generic-ass story until we can trim the fat, trim the fat, trim the fat. Now let's do the real story, which is only like 20 minutes long. So how do you do that? How do you trim the fat without making the story gutted and non-existent?
I don't know.
Well, neither do I. That's why we're here. We're supposed to figure that out.
Well, so far they haven't shown a good track record of doing it, but
Right. Because I was thinking, like, I should have put more thought into this before the movie, but I guess it's better to think it through, especially with the audience. You know, we can all talk together and, like, let's discuss this together in a way and try and work through it. Because I think overall, like, everything I didn't care about in the beginning was kind of necessary. Like, let's see. All the gang war shit didn't matter. The government dudes didn't matter up until the point where they were fighting him, in which case they mattered, but that was only a few minutes long, and it didn't matter because the main character has to take him out anyway.
We got the government dudes. I thought the heat vision was from his helmet. It's his actual vision. It's the only way he sees.
Interesting. Well, what about in the first one when he took the helmet off? He didn't see an infrared anymore. He saw an only red.
Yeah, but in this one, after he took the helmet off, he was seeing an infrared again. He was still seeing an infrared.
Weird.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I guess that's not the case, or they retconned it.
Something, right? Because yeah, in the beginning, I mean, it was still infrared-ish. It was just extremely fucking red. In the first one when he took it off. Maybe that's
their flashlights too, but I guess the flashlights had infrared inside the light. I don't know.
Right. Well, also we don't know because I think he has different visions because he clicked it a few times. I think he's got like some cool Splinter Cell shit where he can change the visions, which I thought was awesome. I was like, "Ooh, get fucked!" He has different vision now. They have more advanced technology. I thought that was pretty cool when he fucking like did that whole little bit. But yeah, maybe it's just like it refines it, right? Maybe they
Mhm.
do only see in infrared, but the little goggles help them like refine it, um, to some degree. I don't know. I guess we'll
Mhm.
figure it out later if they ever explain it. It's not too important, but it would be nice to have it at least be a little consistent, because they
Yeah.
do mention it overtly. So if you're gonna like establish it openly and in concrete, like a character says it, unless we can assume that character is incompetent or doesn't have the full story, then we have to
Yeah.
take that. We have to take that as law, and like that's what the story is. That's how it works. Um, which is always a weird thing in movies. It's something I've never been a fan of. It's like, well, so and so said it, therefore it's the rules of the world. It's like, yeah, but who is so and so?
Right.
Like, well, it's the author telling
They're
us. I'm
getting
like,
bad information.
right, because everyone just assumes that if something's ever said in any story, it's the author telling us that that's how it is. And I would probably give you credit that
I
not
would say
you,
it's
but
not always the case because usually they do it to set up expectations and then they subvert those expectations within the story itself. Um,
usually, especially anime.
'Cause, this one especially because they're like, oh, he sees only an infrared, and then clearly he didn't.
Right.
He got y'all killed.
Right, right. And that's why I say so sometimes it's hard to always understand, is it the author telling us we should assume that, or is it something in the
But
story?
I think his natural vision is infrared because he took off the helmet and he was still seeing in infrared.
Right. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Um let's see. Before I guess we'll dive into the whole thing first and then go back to like what we could do to maybe make this more tight knit.
Hmm.
Like kind of cut some of the fluff and make it more of a cool experience. Let's see. Where do we start? Dude, the guy in the beginning, he had IQ's gun.
I didn't even notice. Or pay attention
Such a
to the gun.
stupid thing, but like yeah, now all of those fucking guns are now tied to an operator in my brain, and every time I watch a movie, I'm like, hey, that's Doc's gun.
I mean, to
uh,
be fair, I do the same thing with the MP5 every time I see it.
every time,
Every time.
every time I see a fucking Vector, hey, look, it's Miro's gun. But yeah, no,
The
what do you call
streets
it?
of LA, the war-torn streets of LA.
Yeah, I don't know. They were too much for me. The beginning was a little fucking way too much. Uh, Even like he pulls out this tiny, like the barrel on that grenade launcher had to have been like the size of my thumb, and that fucker said boom, and it blew up a fucking cop car, flipped it over. It was a little dramatic at the beginning, but it was cool. Some of the bits, like he opens up his trunk, he says, "What do I need?" I said, "Get the Magnum." The fucker said, "Yeah, not big enough," and he grabs a fucking Magnum, rides a car, spins it to the side with bulletproof things over the windows, and jumps out and starts shooting. That was some of the coolest shit I ever saw in action. So some of it gets a pass because it's fucking awesome, but definitely I was like, "What the fuck?" People are just out here with infinite bullets, just shooting motherfuckers in the streets. I said, what the fuck is going on?
To be fair, everyone had infinite bullets back in the day.
I mean, I guess so. So that was a little wild to me. But then, I mean, they had like a whole warehouse which was full of shit. And I
Mhm.
was thinking, like, it's not impossible they had an entire warehouse of drugs and money and guns and shit. So maybe they did have infinite bullets. Um, but yeah, those pretty crazy at the beginning, a little over the top. Um, where's the main guy from? He's like the standard buddy
Lethal
cop
Weapon.
guy.
He's Lethal Weapon guy.
Lethal
He's
Weapon?
Murtaugh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Him and Mel Gibson, right?
Uh, Mel Gibson? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
The
because
only
I
my
was like,
brain went to someone else. Yeah, Mel Gibson plays Briggs and he plays Murtaugh.
got you, because I was like, that's the guy. He's like the standard buddy cop guy in my brain. um, let's see.
The FBI guy's also in Lethal Weapon.
Is he?
Uh-huh.
Which one? The main
First
shithead
one.
who got cut in half, or the one like his underling?
He's in the first one. The one that got cut in half, I'm pretty sure.
Got you. I get them all confused. From the moment like his chief showed up, or the guy he like cusses him out, he said, "Hey, Higgins is on the way," or whatever the fuck his name, Harrington, or. But
Yeah.
when they said that dude's on the way, he shows up, stiff ass white dude with the same haircut and glasses, and then out of a chopper, 6 more identical stiff ass white dudes with fucking glasses. I said, which one is which? They all look the same. So that was fucking hilarious. Like they were all almost indistinguishable to me. I mean, they probably had some nuance, but they looked very fucking similar.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, you see they mentioned again and they played it up again? How hot it was?
Yeah.
They made like 5, maybe 6 references to the Heat, and every scene showed them like their shirts were soaking wet.
Right.
That must be important. I think that we have to assume that's important now. It was speculation in the first movie, but I think there's no question predators have to be in a certain heat, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do wear fishnets, and they're pretty much naked, so...
They like the heat.
I guess, yeah, it makes sense. They like the heat. Weird. Dude, what is that police station? That shit... that shit looked like it was straight out of RoboCop or some shit.
It probably was the same set.
The shit... You walk in, there's like 5 prostitutes, there's 2 gangsters, there's this guy punching a cop, there's this guy. I said, Jesus! And it's all panning in one shot.
To be fair, I thought it was. I was like, oh yeah, that's how police stations look my entire life. because of this and RoboCop. Well, not this specifically, but other movies that take place in like futuristic LA or wherever. It's always fucking chaos in the police station.
Every time. And I had forgotten about it until like, oh, what was it? Double Dragon? Similar shit.
Yeah. That's the one I always watched as a kid. I love Double Dragon.
Dude, Double Dragon's so good. I watched it recently. I think it was 6 months ago. It was free on YouTube. I said, that's just as good as I remember.
Yeah. It was very badly rated. But
I'm surprised. It's a classic. I mean, yeah, you could argue, well, it's a little cheesy, but fuck, man.
Cheesy.
I would put it as the, how do you say it? Because I have to compare it more closely to like, well, I guess it's a kid's movie in a way.
Right.
But it might be like the best, most solid kids movie ever.
I still quote that movie to this day. I go, oh, the Lee brothers, Ugg and Home. Ugly, homely.
So stupid. But yeah, I think if you rate it against like high budget, regular movie, AAA movies, then no, it definitely comes up short. Not all the way short, but definitely shorter. But if you rate it against like other kids movie style ones, like you would see on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon, whatever, I'd rate it like twice as high, right? So I think it falls in some weird category between the two, which is why it probably got low ratings if everybody was comparing it to like this or to RoboCop, right?
Right. I liked it though
because it was a little cheesy, But I'm also more, I guess, inclined to enjoy a little cheese or a little childlike stuff because I still watch whatever it is, right? Anime, cartoons, all the other shit I grew up with. So I'm more open to that versus I think the regular casual viewer.
Shit, I'm about to go rewatch that right now after we're done.
That's what the party is tonight. Let's see. So they introduced the new fucker. I didn't trust him. I said, "Who's this new fucker? I don't trust this guy."
Yeah, he did have like he was making jokes like fucking Hawkins was, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, we got the jokester again. We got another jokester here." The hot Latino babe grabbing him by the balls. I was like, oh, yeah.
Bro.
Get his ass.
That shit was awesome. He's like fucking throwing game. He said, oops. That'll be his first mistake. And they both just start laughing. Oh, man. That shit was great. Then he walks in the office. Jeez, man. What the fuck's wrong with that bitch? I said, bro. I said, you would. That's what you get, you stupid fuck. Oh, man. That shit was great. But yeah, when he got first introduced and he gives him the whole speech, I was like, he looks a little suspect. I said, I don't know if I trust this guy. But then immediately after that one scene, they introduced
himself.
I mean, I guess. But they kind of got rid of all that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think they tried to make his character too deep for what the screen time allowed.
Right.
I appreciate it, though. They gave it an attempt, and I think it's awesome because he had a really cool character arc and a cool character, like...
Yeah, the ending, he fucking sacrificed himself for the other people on the train.
Right. And not only that, when he's talking to him, he said he was, like, going to go do some shit on his own, and he stops him. He was like, hey, it's a revolving door. It swings both ways. And I was like, oh, that shit got me. Such a good line. Like, so they really did a good job with, I don't know, what feels like... Was it a short movie? How long was it? An hour and a half?
Probably.
Because I'm
like an hour 20 or hour 15.
Maybe, right? Because I felt like I was like, man.
Remember, a lot of movies back in the day used to be short.
Right. I love the new form media, like the new.
I lied. It's an hour 48. It's almost.
Really?
Yeah.
And
That
that's why
never flew by.
yeah, it did, because maybe this is the fluff I'm talking about. Because I always felt like,
I think
man,
I think the plot with the FBI was kind of not necessary. Maybe I don't know. I like checked out with the FBI shit.
yeah, I could see that, but it gave him, it added a little bit to the mystery. How do you say it? It raised the stakes, right? You know, you don't know what the fuck you're dealing with. It's like, oh, he knows about it. Something else is going on, right? And the plot thickens, but it thickened in a kind of a superfluous way because by the end of the movie, none of that shit mattered. That's something you do, I think, in like a series because you have enough time to set the FBI guys up and then raise the stakes and then pay those stakes off by giving the FBI dudes their own little mini arc or whatever.
Right.
But it's not about them. They are almost irrelevant to the story. So when you introduce them and add those stakes and add the whole bigger than you know kind of thing, it's exciting, but you're going to have a hard time paying it off in such a short amount of time, which I'm now finding out is a longer amount of time than I thought it was compared to how quickly it seems some of these character arcs started and stopped. And
Right.
I'd love to give this a rewatch, and I might do that. It's very unlikely.
I did have to watch it twice because I fell asleep the first time. I fell asleep right before he got into the van with the FBI guys. So I was just like, so I woke up and I was like, what the fuck are all these guys in fucking weird spacesuits? The hell is all right? I gotta rewatch this tomorrow morning.
That's okay. You pretty much like went all the shitty boring parts, fell asleep right when the movie started.
Well, I actually rewatched it right from the beginning. Anyways.
Right. No, I just meant like in terms of that day. That was just what's funny. You fell asleep right before the movie started. But yeah, and I think I'd like to go back and I want to see where they put their time. Like it'd be interesting to find out where they spend an hour and 45. Because I definitely don't remember it being on like really good plot development or character. All the character moments seem like they came and went like fast. Like
Right.
they introduce his buddy. His buddy goes back to the crime scene. He's dead. He has to avenge his friend. But we didn't even get a lot of shots of them being friends.
We saw the gangs what are they called, the Jamaican guys,
the prophets,
the voodoo guys,
not prophets, something religious, I think.
Posse something, the Jamaican voodoo posse, the JVP,
The JVP.
yeah, we saw them jump some like one of the Colombian leaders or something like that, or sacrifice him, and then the Predator showed up and
Right.
killed all the Jamaican guys.
Yeah, and I think this is a problem too. Like that shot was for the Predator, and I didn't care, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that shot was pretty long, wasn't it? Like, I mean, not outrageously long, but it took enough time. I'm gonna say 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And none of it mattered. We already know the Predator's badass. We already have seen early on what he could do to a bunch of guys.
I think what they're doing is they're establishing how the Jamaicans leave their mark, right? The JVP leave their mark. They hang people up. They sacrifice them. So like it's similar to how the Predator does. So it confused them because they're like this has all the telltale signs of it being them, and they're like, why would they hang their own guys though? So it was like kind of like a mystery, but the movie doesn't play like a mystery because we know what it is.
Right. Speaking of
Predator,
a really good point to mention about mysteries and stuff, and a smallest moment that made me go, ooh, Mufasa, was when he's sitting there and he's talking to the guy. He said, "Where's what's his name? Jason? The guy, the buddy cop, the redneck dude. Well, not redneck, but
Jerry.
Jerry?
Lambert. Yeah.
Okay, that was a Jason, something J. But yeah, so Jerry. He said, "Where's Jerry?" He said, "I don't know. We haven't found him." He said, "There's too many dead, or even civilians this time." And then he stopped. He said something. He was like, "They were all armed." And he had this like revelation. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And it was just like the most exciting thing in my life for like half a second. And I said, "What was that? Why was that so cool?" I was like, "That doesn't matter. It doesn't really help anything. Like we already kind of know that Predator is about preying on things and doesn't really kill people for nothing." So I was like, why was that so cool?
The little kid has the toy gun.
That shit was funny. He was about to blow that kid in half. Little Timmy was about to fucking take a fucking dirt nap, dude. That shit was funny. He found out it was wrong. Another weird scene, though. I think that scene did not need to be there at all.
Right.
I guess it was to introduce him. You want some candy? And
Oh
make
yeah,
it
that was like a creepy thing that he did to Jerry, but it wasn't even that big a deal. I think if it was to like Leona because she was about to have a baby, that would make more sense.
right,
But then you'd have to play up that she's about to have a baby, and then she's getting soft because she's getting, and then she like overcorrects. Like that's a fucking character right there.
right,
But they didn't do none of that.
right, right. No, and that's what I mean. It's cluttered, and this is why not cluttered. I don't think the movie felt very cluttered because all these character arcs came and went so fast that it never had time to feel cluttered, but it
Mhm.
did feel shallow, a lot of it. But like you're saying, they don't have enough time to add to that to make her better to do all this other stuff. They also had a hint of a horror in this movie going on,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I liked it. Like for example, certain parts I was like, oh shit, this is fucked up and kind of gruesome. I was a little bit on the edge of my seat, more so than I thought I would be. I thought it'd be a little bit more action, and I liked that direction, but I
Mhm.
didn't like. Yeah, the whole he needs to learn how to, fuck with somebody and see if they want candy because that's spooky. That was a little bit forced, I think, in like the horror
Yeah.
direction, but that's not
Yeah.
this style of like horror. He's not something that, well, I guess he is something that goes bump in the night, but it's
He's smart, right? Like that didn't seem like a smart move, but when he used the Harrigan's voice for like the buddy for his like friend, his best friend that got killed, the very first cop that got killed,
right,
um, to catch him off guard, that was intelligent, that was smart. But
right.
this one just felt like odd.
I think it was they were trying to make it spooky.
Yeah.
They were trying to make it more creepy, more grotesque-esque, more like horror-esque, more
Mm.
of like what you would see.
Yeah, that would make more sense if they killed the
Paranormal,
girl with that. If she had already had her baby, or there was a plot line about her having a baby and her still working on the force even though she's pregnant and she's
right,
going soft or some shit like something like that would have been played that up more or something, and then
right,
you can
because
have that line. But other than that, since you didn't do that, I think they should have just cut that out and it made him say like one of Jerry's friends' lines or something.
right, or even a line that he said, right?
Yeah,
One
yeah,
of his lines that he said earlier when he's like macking on women and shit, or like something that shows his character flaws of being super selfish or arrogant,
yeah.
and then it's like, fuck you, but because he does it in the end when he says shit happens, and
Right.
he's about to blow him to hell with the bomb. I said, bro, you piece of shit, dude.
That was funny.
If one thing you can count on, Predator is a bitch and will blow the world up if he loses the fight.
Right. They all do it.
I know,
So
it's
they don't get
funny.
experimented on. So they don't get their technology goes to lesser life forms.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That makes sense. It's technological preservation.
Yeah,
'Cause
this
I
one they played that up, the technology trying to get the technology from them. That's what the FBI were doing.
Right, right, right. No, and that makes more sense given the fact because I thought it was a little counterintuitive that they act like bitches when they die, but then he meets a gang of them, and they're like, "Oh shit, you killed that guy? Well, you're stronger than he was. Get fucked. We'll take his body. You win. See you later."
Here's a trophy for you.
Right,
Is what
and
you're
maybe it was one of his trophies that he got. He
right.
said, "You deserve it since you killed him."
Right.
And I was like, "That's really cool." So then it made me like wonder. I said, "Well, then why do they blow themselves up like they have no honor, just trying to win at any cost?" And then it was like, I guess it's for technological preservation. That would make sense. But they always laugh in their face about it. Well, I guess he didn't laugh this time, but he did the whole shit happens as a
First one
joke,
did, 'cause the other one's a bitch.
right? So
One
yeah,
less of a bitch.
maybe this one, yeah, he was just doing it because he didn't laugh or
He's
anything.
he's been around since at least the 1400s, right? That's what they said. It was like 14 or
17 something, I think.
yeah. Okay, it was 17 something. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. He also, yeah, because when he says shit happens, it also doesn't have to be like, I'm laughing at you because you're blown up. It also could have been shit happens. I guess I lost. You
Right.
know, sorry we couldn't have a better fight or whatever. You know, like the shit happens can mean a lot of different things.
I love when he cut his arm off. Though. That was fucking.
Oh
sick.
yeah, fucking super buzzsaw. When he first shot that shit, I said, "You had super buzzsaws the whole time." Fucking blew me away, dude. I was like, "You can't be serious." But then he took it. I said, "Oh, he took it." I said, "He's gonna win." First of all,
I
he was
fucking loved it. I love that part where he fell in the bathroom with that old lady. It was just like I can't remember her husband's name, but she was calling his fucking name out. Bam!
right.
Holding a fucking broom.
That shit. There's someone in the bathroom. Just fucking doesn't care. Just watching Jeopardy. Oh my god. You know what's cool? I wonder, and I don't have proof of this, but it'd be really cool if they did this. One of those little artsy fartsy shits. They never answered the question on Jeopardy, and I wonder if that was an Easter egg.
Oh, yeah,
Because that would have been
maybe.
really neat. I was like, huh. I was like, I don't care enough to look it up. I said, but it'd be really super cool for all the artsy guys out there if the answer to that
Right.
Jeopardy question was like an homage to something or a cool Easter egg for the movie.
Could have just been Predator or something like that.
Maybe, right? It could have been
Yeah.
also not important.
Right.
But those are the kind of little moments that really elevate, I think, storytelling or movies or anything in general. Is the things you don't have to do, but you do just to add the little. Mwah.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah, yeah. When the fucking Predator runs out of that fucking house, and then the
dude,
cop, don't
he
worry,
was
I'm a cop.
juiced
I
up.
don't think he cares.
Nah, but he was juiced the fuck up, dude. That fucker was on something. I don't know, adrenaline, something. He stabbed that shit and said, and fucking took off down the stairs. I said, oh my god.
Oh shit.
That was funny though. I don't think he cares. Like, to be honest, you gotta be wondering. You saw a fucking, like, I don't know, 7-foot alien kick your door down and haul ass down the police, and a regular dude with a gun comes. Don't worry, I got him. I'm on the way. He's like out of breath and shit.
So did he have a gun on him, or did he have the bus up?
Oh, he had the buzzsaw. He didn't even have the gun. That looks even worse too. Oh, that's funny. He should have
If
got
this
that
was made
spear.
today, if that was made today, if somebody would instead of that joke, it'd be what's Comic-Con this week? Uh,
That is true. I could definitely see that. How it's funny how jokes evolve, right?
yeah,
Or how like certain things are just was it pop culture, right? I guess that's what it is.
yeah,
How like pop culture defines certain jokes. I have to wonder, like back in like the 50s or some old black and white, some of those jokes, and how far
yeah,
over my head they would go. I mean,
right,
I'm not a good example because I'm pretty dumb, but even how far over most people's heads it would go,
yeah.
of like the cultural references of like how people act.
Some people
Um,
don't really like using jokes that'll age badly, but
I think it's
they do
important
anyways.
because
Yeah,
20 years, 40 years,
it
100
shows it
years.
shows the times. Yeah,
Yeah, 100 years later, that's going to be so important because someone who's watching the film or retroactively studying it or whatever, it just gives
yeah.
them more evidence to explore the time. It allows someone to say, wow, look at this joke. And they'll say, well, that joke, I don't get it. And someone will be like, oh, it
Uh,
references this, and this was a culturally appropriate thing. In the last 10 years, it had really grown or whatever, right?
yeah.
Like,
Do you notice the movie takes place in the future?
is it? How far?
Uh,
1997?
it's 1997, and the movie came out in 1990.
Oh, that's funny. That is the future, right? I wonder why I felt like RoboCop.
The far distant future of 1997.
Listen, I love like, wasn't it Judge Dredd or something that was in 2023 or
Shit, I think it was earlier than that.
it was
Uh,
something that was like I can't remember what it was, but it was a movie that
I
was like
remember watching. I was watching Back to the Future in like 2014. And I was like, oh, not Keely, but it was whoever I was with. I was like, ah, yes, the far distant future of 2015. Uh,
that shit's funny. I love it. Science fiction, and then we get there, it's like, hey, we don't even have
hey,
hoverboards,
a hoverboard.
right?
They have
Feels
them. They're
bad.
just stuck. They have to be on a track, or you have to make a fucking thing for them. Like
Right.
a air hockey, a massive air hockey thing.
Which is still cool though.
Yeah, I guess.
It'd be interesting to see like a park, like a hoverboard park, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be pretty dope.
Yeah,
Because you have to think, yeah, you're missing out, but not really. Most people go to the park and only play there anyway.
right.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Where were we with this movie?
Let's see. Oh yeah, characters. How brief some of it was, and how like they could have
We're
done
kind
different
of
things,
jumping around this movie. Actually, most of the time we actually go scene for scene, but
right? Well, there's not much. I think I don't really even have a lot of that notes. Um, let's see. He hung that dude upside down, butt ass naked. I said, what?
he was in the middle of skinning him when they showed up.
It was just crazy. I said, like, they really showed that. This dude's literally upside down, butt ass naked. Even the one chick, titties out.
Oh, you're talking about the Jamaicans? Yeah,
Yeah. I said, holy cow, can they show this? Was this in theaters?
yeah, it was.
It's so funny to hear like some of like the movements, right? Some of this movements of like they just what do you call it? We need freedom. They just censor everything and all this other and all the prudish stuff. This maybe not now, but back in like 2010, right? There was a lot of movement for stuff like this, and a lot of movement for like what would eventually become like Game of Thrones and shit like that. It was like, yeah, tits and ass and all
Well, it's because
this
like
stuff.
PG-13 movies made more money than rated R movies, so a lot of shows and movies would go rated R because, or would go PG-13 because it made more money because people would take their kids to go see it. They'd buy those movies for their kids.
Oh, I
Um,
see.
they're like, oh, PG-13 is not bad. He's 10, he'll be alright.
Right.
But they
Like,
see
I guess
rated
that
R,
makes
they're like,
sense.
oh no, they can't watch that. That has blood and guts, and they curse in there. There'd be naked people all over. No, 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 I can't watch. I can't show little Timmy that. Um,
Right. Because I guess it just confused me because when I see so much stuff like that coming out and like
yeah.
how important it was and how everyone loved it and how it was just the newest hottest thing is all the tits and ass and violence and I'm like, man, I mean, I guess if everyone loves it
Also,
nowadays,
it was also combined with that like less every year less people go to the movies. I think they estimated that only like Americans only go once like 4 times a year. Um,
right? Now that makes sense.
and yeah, we used to go all like every other weekend.
Right. Well, it's
Um,
funny. The cinema, I think, doesn't mean as much to our culture as it used to.
right.
And I guess, yeah, you have Netflix and bullshit, but not just that. Even if there was no Netflix, I think it's just this busy lifestyle that becomes, it seems, busier and busier every year. And I
Hmm.
could be, misremembering, or I'm not what do you call it, like a sociologist. I don't know exactly how our culture has always been for the masses. Um, but it seems like Friday night used to be a lot slower. When I hear people talk about it, and even when I think back to my growing up, like you had time. Friday night, it was like, what are we gonna do? You maybe try and catch a movie on TV, go to this fucking cinema, go to like what do you call it, like Sonic Drive-In, and actually sit and have
Right.
food and get a milkshake. It was this sort of Friday night was like this cool, or maybe even Saturday, but it was this quality time. Like, yeah, it's when you go do stuff, but it was slow enough that it allowed for it. And I don't see it happening as often because usually people also work weekends. So it's
Right.
either you're working weekends or maybe you're out late Friday, but then it's like, well, busy, busy, busy. We have to do this, we have to do that. And it just seems like parents as well. And I don't know, go to the whole, single parenthood thing of how many men or women are both raising kids alone, so they don't have that much time. And there's a lot of factors that have changed, I think, that really help, kill cinema in a way. But it is unfortunate that that's the case. So I can definitely see what you're saying. That 4 times a year, and that's only because I think there's these pop culture waves, and I think
Yeah.
that's probably why everyone had to. Now that you mention it, maybe that's why everyone had to turn into Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Because I know people will see every Marvel film or every Disney film. Period. If
Yeah.
it comes out, they're going to see it. They're going to take their family. They're going to do it. It becomes this huge global event that everyone has to go do. But
Yeah.
a regular film, just a regular comedy, romance, horror, regular random Friday of the month, so much less likely because it's not an event. We don't
Hmm.
have time, it seems like, in our lives to enjoy things that aren't over the top spectacular.
Yeah. Here's a correction. I'm reading the IMDb page. There's a goof when the predator regains consciousness at the slaughterhouse, resuming the chase after Harrigan. He sees Harrigan in infrared scope. A major bloop as the predator didn't put his mask back on. Anyone who watched the first installment must remember, without the mask, the predator can only see in red, with only minor distinctions. So yes, he gets his infrared from his helmet, but that was a fuck up on their part on in behind the scenes.
Huh, nice. 'Cause, yeah, he did have a piece of the mask so he could breathe.
Oh, did he? I don't even know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
he
no, he
actually he
didn't
picked
have
it
the
up and
yeah.
used it as like an
Right
oxygen.
here, it's yeah. There's a goof right there. It says there's a that is definitely a fuck up on their part.
Cool.
Um, so
I did
yeah,
think that was a
cool.
nice touch when they like he can obviously breathe in our atmosphere, but it was
Yeah,
very difficult. It seemed like he would be winded or like slowly
maybe
suffocate.
yeah,
Um, so he had like a piece of his mask to use as like a little breath, like a little oxygen mask that he would use, or whatever
yeah.
type of whatever type of air that he needs, nitrogen, whatever.
Yeah. And they
Um,
did film on location again. No sets. It's all in the streets of LA.
that's fucking
Um,
dope, dude. That's so
and,
sick.
and there's a comment that they during the alley scenes were just like the crew did not like doing the alley scenes because they were actually that littered with garbage, which was actually used in the film. Um,
Fucking awesome. That's real garbage.
yeah, and the people in whenever people who live there in the apartments were getting so pissed off at all the noise being made by the film crew, they would actually throw paper bags filled with fucking crap and throw paper
Damn.
and throw bottles and shit at them.
That's crazy. That's so awesome. You know what sucks though?
Uh,
You can't do that anymore, can you?
what? Throw shit
Some
at film crews?
no.
I'd still do it.
You can't even film to have stuff thrown at you because now people aren't going to do that, right? That used to be
Most
the
people
case.
don't do that anymore, but there's a lot who do.
But
There's
now
still
don't you have
some
to pay all
interesting.
these people off and section off
Yeah, you
things?
gotta pay a lot of money. Listen, they did that with The Walking Dead. They completely shut down an entire highway or like an entire city block for some of their stuff in the first season. Um,
Right. And I
they
think
used to
now,
they had to people pay people back then too. So, but back then it wasn't as much money, I guess, because it wasn't as common. But now everyone's making. There's so many movies coming out. Um,
right. Well, I think
it's like
people are. Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry.
All of us it's more of a hey, these guys are gonna pay me this much for this to use this alleyway. These guys are gonna pay me this much for this alleyway. Shit. So they have to like it's just getting more and more expensive to if you're gonna film a scene here and they another film crew wants to film a scene there, it gets kind of iffy. Um,
Right. I think
so
it's because people are now also more educated, but with that education comes entitlement.
mm.
Because back in the day, an average dude would be like, "They're fucking filming again, honey." And it's like,
Mm.
keep it down. And he'd like throw a beer bottle out there and try and fuck with
Right,
them. But that's all he's
right.
gonna do, right? It sucks to suck, but that he's gonna have to deal with it for a little bit, and it's gonna build these awesome ass movies because of it, and that's fine. But now with education and entitlement and everything, now it's like, oh well, they make $10 billion on these movies, so I'm gonna go sue them for this, and they're gonna have to pay me a $5 million to be outside my backyard and this and all this bullshit, and then that just
Oh, no,
disincentivizes companies to ever do anything ever again.
no, they do that. They still pay. They still pay. People don't sue them for it because it's a city that lets them film that stuff and they can't do anything about it.
Got you.
No, really. I mean, I guess they could try to sue, but it's not gonna fucking amount to anything. They're just gonna waste a lot of their own money.
Right.
Uh,
Because that's the sort of mentality that I see now, which is really unfortunate.
yeah.
Is like so much of that bullshit of like
Yeah. When I was
just
in ninth grade, they filmed fuck was it Leatherheads? They filmed a scene from Leatherheads on our football field.
cool.
Yeah. They actually got somebody in my school to play the main was it Leatherheads? I don't think it was Leatherheads. It was a different movie. It was another football movie. I don't remember which one. But he was supposed to play him as like a young kid in a flashback. They ended up cutting the flashback scene out of the fucking uh the movie.
Right.
That shit would have been cool because he got to like skip school those days. He's like, oh sweet.
Right.
uh
I had a friend. His dad was in the was in Walking Dead. I think as an extra.
oh nice. I
He
would have loved to be in a
he
Walking
was
Dead.
like, yeah, my dad's an actor now. I said, what? He said, yeah, he's gonna make it big in Hollywood. I said, no, why? And he was like,
No
yep.
why?
um, well, yeah, I
Uh,
don't. I was going somewhere. It's gonna be no way or something or why or how. Maybe I don't know where the
yeah.
how. I think it was gonna be how. So I turned into
That's
no how.
cool. That's cool.
But yeah, then he told me he was like, yeah, he's gonna be in this, and he was an extra or something. I was like, that's cool. He's just a random zombie in the background somewhere walking around.
My karate teacher was an extra in a lot of movies. He liked doing zombie movies.
That's awesome. I imagine he has like
Yeah.
a portfolio, and he's like a professional extra.
Yeah, probably.
Like,
He's too
call this
short to
guy.
be like a star. So he's like, I'll be an extra. I don't give a shit.
Right? I picture like someone asking to like, we need a guy, we need extras. I know a guy. He
I
pulls out
know
like a
a guy.
he pulls out like a specific like
They
business
usually
card.
just get like as many like random people they can. I know Game of Thrones got like flack whenever like Khaleesi had it like when her big moment where she saved a bunch of like slaves and they had a bunch of brown people and they're like this looks white savory. He's like, well, in the books there's people from all over the world here, but since we filmed in Morocco, we hired Moroccans.
Right? That shit's funny. But no, it'd be cool to be an extra.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to just be in movies.
I wanted
But-
to be fucking in Spider-Man: Homecoming. They were filming in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was like, I want to be an extra in that. And me and Jameson were gonna fucking take a trip down there, but they were like, oh, they're only hiring locals. I was like, that's bullshit.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, right?
I'll go down there for 2 weeks and film as an extra.
Just tell them you live there. Get like a hotel. Maybe they check
Probably
your
could
ID.
lie. A lot of actors get lie and get roles. Like they say that a different age or they know so many skills that
That's
they don't
funny.
actually know. So, and
But it's too late. You already hired him.
right? Um, So whatever.
Hey, that's how you
Back
get a
to
bunch of
Predator
jobs.
2.
Let's see. The strobe light scene was kind of hard. Oh wait, before we that,
Oh,
I already said it. Too late. The strobe light scene in the fucking underground was a little
yeah.
hard to watch.
I think they did it to make the infrared look better because I didn't like. I still don't like watching it in infrared.
No, not infrared, like strobe light. Where sorry, not actual
No,
strobe light, but like when he's on the
I know what you're
train.
talking about. It's in the train. Yeah, I think they did it. I tried. I think they did the strobe light scene terrible. So whenever he's looking at him in infrared, we're like, oh, thank God.
You think so?
I think so. Like,
I thought it was
how
to
I
add
felt.
suspense and add terror.
Maybe. But
They
I
did
was
something
like,
similar in like the new Resident Evil.
oh, they may have. Okay.
What I thought was kind of bad. It wasn't terrible, and my friend did give me a pretty good insight onto it. He said, well, they were trying to make it first person and kind of show some of the fear that he had in that scene. It's where I think it's Chris is in the kitchen or something in the mansion essentially, and it goes first person as he crawls under a table with like a lighter, and like the lights run out, and as the lights run out, I think only the flashes from his gun or something keeps flashing the scene. And I'm like, God, I can't. My fucking head hurts, dude. Like, it was like hard to watch in a very dark room. And it was very similar here. The room wasn't so dark, but it was dark enough that it was noticeable. And I was like, oh, if this is hard to watch. And I don't think I've ever seen a scene like that worked out.
I've seen a few in horror movies. Yeah, it's not good.
Right. It just can't be egregious.
Sometimes they do. It was just flickering so quickly. It's gotta
right.
it's gotta be a slow flicker, or it's gotta be really well timed flickers with like the movements of the characters to make it like, oh, he's there. Oh no, he's over there. Like
right.
That one just seemed way too just obnoxious.
Right. Let's just have flicker for no reason because we heard it was good.
Yeah, and the flicker was way too quick. It was just like fucking hurting my eyes to watch that.
That's part of what I was talking about too earlier with the whole idea that I think they tried to lean into more horror in this movie.
Maybe.
And sometimes it worked well, and sometimes it didn't. And I think
this one's actually labeled as a horror sci-fi action movie on IMDb, whereas I think the first one's only labeled as action sci-fi.
Right. I mean, you can tell there's definitely some influence, which I liked some of the influence, but yeah, definitely It's funny because those two are part of the same scene. Is the you want candy and then the flicker.
Action. The first one was action adventure horror.
Hell yeah, adventure.
Sure, adventure. I mean, they're in the jungle,
right?
Jungles of Central America.
They're adventuring. Dun, dun, dun,
dun. Okay.
So yeah, they dropped the ball. I think on a couple of those horror things. That was the second. But no, back to faulty equipment and equipment in general. I need to know. Because this fucker's damn near butt naked in fishnets. He got shot multiple times while he was invisible on the train from Jeff or Jason, Jerry, and didn't take any damage. Then he gets shot a couple times in the slaughterhouse when he's not invisible and takes all the damage. So does the invisible also make him bulletproof?
No, because he got shot by
in the first one.
In the first one, yeah.
Never mind. Then it's weird. Then why didn't he take any damage when Jerry's shooting the fuck out of him?
Was he shooting the fuck out of him?
Yeah, you saw it deflect off sometimes. It would go like bing, bing.
I thought it was just missing.
It looked like it was deflecting off. Like it was
his shoulder pads.
Not impossible, because he does have little knee pads and shoulder pads, and he has a few pads.
He has a few.
I'll give it to you. That maybe it was just super, super unlucky.
But it was ding, ding, ding off his head, maybe, because he's such a good shot. He gets nothing but headshots.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I was thinking, like, there's no way one of those didn't just go straight through his chest. He's in a fucking subway cart. Like, there's no room. He's walking down the aisle.
He's literally just wearing fishnets.
So I'm like, yeah, there's no way that he didn't take damage from that at all. He just shot him.
I'd have to rewatch that scene. I do remember that, him shooting a bunch and then just... But I don't remember if they missed or if there was. I do remember hearing ting, 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 but it could have been from the metal inside the subway cart. I don't remember.
Right, not impossible. But let's see. Did you see that cool ass shot after he gets off the phone when he finds out his one buddy died, and he goes and stands next to the fucking place and he sees his reflection in like the mount store?
No, I don't remember that.
It was a really cool shot. I mean, it's not amazing or groundbreaking, but I thought it was really neat. It was
Yeah.
like a store, like a little storefront on the corner.
I feel like his friend.
Um,
I don't know. His friend. His friend died, I'm like, yeah, it's his friend. I get it, fine. But I was just like, I don't care.
Same. We needed more. We needed more of the friend.
Right.
You know who got more of the friend was the woman, because I'm pretty sure that was his baby.
Oh,
Um,
maybe. Yeah.
Because at least that's how they made it seem. They were always together and joking, and then eventually, she
Yeah.
mentioned, she was like, you're not the only one who cared about him. I know maybe it's a different movie completely, but I remember that line. Maybe it was this one.
It was probably this one.
But no, what was that from?
Probably wasn't.
Pirates of the Caribbean. That's where that came from.
Oh, okay.
Because he stops and he's fucking like slams the table. He said,
Mhm.
"Let's not have you make the mistake and think you're the only one who cares for Elizabeth around here."
Right.
I said, "Ooh, cool line." But yeah, no, but she said something to him when like he was leaving to go avenge him,
Right.
essentially about we're friends and everything else, and like showing that she cares for him too. And they were always together, those two, laughing and joking.
Yes. Maybe it was his baby. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we didn't get any of the main dude and the friend. We didn't get any of them at all. Pretty much
Yeah.
throughout the entire movie, maybe a couple lines.
But you're
But
supposed to know they're friends. They have a picture together.
yeah. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, I never really finished that thought entirely, but pretty much yeah. Like when he said they were all armed, and he had that cool moment of revelation.
Yeah.
I like that mystery factor. I like watching a character put shit together and like have it all come together, and it was really fucking cool. But they didn't do any more of that. Like they've done that twice now, where they mention about like how the Predator works, or if they're armed, or if they're whatever.
Mhm.
It was done better this time. It made me more engaged this time. But they never do anything with that. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I got too excited this movie and thought I was going to get more mystery, more excitement, more unveiling. But like the FBI guys dropped flat. That whole thing kind of just he makes the thing about solving the mystery, and then it never
Yeah.
does anything with it. I mean, you don't have to do anything with it, I guess, which is fine. Because I'm thinking, what is he going to do with that information? He already is armed. It's already hunting him. So like. Maybe if he puts together a plan that has people who are unarmed as decoys,
Mhm.
and he uses them for cover and uses them for different things. You know what I mean? Like maybe he uses that to his. That's what I wanted. I think here's the chrysalis of that. I wanted him to use this newfound revelation in a cool and interesting way to like beat the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Revelations. That's the whole point of like any information that the character needs to solve the what problem, right? Like, oh my god, he's allergic to kryptonite, and then he goes and finds the kryptonite and does something to stop Superman. Like that's the whole point. That's the whole plan. But if it's like, wait, he's allergic to kryptonite, I just figured it out, and then never uses it, like, and then beats him in some other way, it's like, well, that was a really cool revelation. Why don't you do anything with it? But I guess it didn't. It didn't need that.
Because people didn't want that. People want the action, punchy, fighty.
I mean, it worked. But you can still get that with a setup. But I think they
Right.
didn't have time for that setup because that setup requires him to have more time to do the setup. And we had to go back to the FBI guys.
Yeah.
Imagine all the FBI guys getting removed and you set up him gathering civilians, moms, dads, whatever. And then you can also double back on the fact that no one trusts him at the department because he's a hothead and he breaks all the rules and has a bunch of felonies and breaks a bunch of shit and causes explosions everywhere.
Yeah.
So then he's like, guys, get me together. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And then it's like, no, what the fuck are you doing? I'm not gonna let you put.
You're trying to
Yeah.
endanger people. What's wrong with you?
Right, you're putting fucking innocent lives in front of this thing. He's like, I know it's gonna work. I know it's gonna work. And then like you have this whole back
then
and
he's
forth.
gonna convince them about that the alien is real because the police department didn't know about it. The FBI guys did.
Oh shit, that does make it a little bit. You'd have to narrate that in a different way.
Or you can, like, instead of making it the FBI, the higher ups at the police department know what it is he's looking for. But then it'd be really weird because then he's been chasing a wild fucking goose chase the whole time and they didn't let him on. So I don't know.
Right, you'd really have to restructure the story. I think a good bit.
Right. Yeah.
But it would be cool because then you can play off his character flaws and then have other people's distrust of him, and then have it come through in some way, or even not come through. Right? Maybe that's what it is. Like it just doesn't work at all. He doesn't get the civilians. His plan doesn't really come together. And then then what the fuck's he supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of adds this roller coaster of he's gonna do it. Here's the plan, and it's your standard, rising into the finish, and he's gonna stop the bad guy. Then it's just fucking cut short back down in the dumps. It's like, what do we do now? And that kind of leaves the audience not knowing where to go, which is fun. You want the audience to be a little lost with the character, and not have this. Oh, he's just gonna do this and win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Dude, the Predator died like such a bitch, though. Not like a bitch way, but like stupid way. Why do you... He's clearly not dead, and he's holding the super buzzsaw in his hand. And he just drops his guard and lifts his hands up and stands there for 30 seconds.
Yeah, he did die stupidly. Oh, dude, when he was on the fucking building, I got a little like, what the fuck? When he was like hanging on the building by two hands. Oh no, I'm falling. Bro, you literally fucking dragged a 190-something fucking pound body up into the fucking rafters.
Right?
Shut up. You can pick yourself up. That was
Right?
so stupid.
You are strong. Like, they make it seem like he's not strong.
Right.
You know what's funny? I never caught that. That scene was
what?
100% believable in my brain until you just said that.
No, I was so mad about that scene while I was watching it, because I'm like, y'all made a big... At this point, I watched this the second time. I said, y'all made a big deal about this motherfucker dragged a 190-something pound body up in the Raptors with no rope or fucking ladder. Come the fuck on. Either he's strong or he's got the same strength as a human. You can't have it both ways.
Right. That's really funny. I didn't catch that at all. Well, hold on. Maybe he was winded. He did get frozen. He was still...
That was before the FBI's, right?
No, that was after. That was after they fought, and then he ran away on the roof, right? No.
Okay, no, it was after. It was after, because he didn't have his little bomb on his arm anymore.
Right.
After that.
So yeah, he was still half frozen. His particles were messed up.
Or whatever.
He also couldn't breathe, right?
Yeah.
Because his mask, he was using it as an oxygen mask, but it was like hanging off his side. So while he's hanging there, he can't get a good breath. So I mean, it's like having to exercise.
You can rationalize it, but still.
in a ragged thing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely pulling at straws. I think it's believable enough if you look at all those things, but obviously it's a little counterintuitive for the brain if you already expect him to be super strong.
Right.
Because also those things that I'm talking about are so subtle that even if they are true, I think the viewer needs a little bit more blatant, oh, he's fucked up, that's why he can't do that, to help rationalize than all these little
subtle... He cut off his arm before he started hanging off by that. Then I'd be like, oh yeah, he can't do it with one arm. He's not that strong.
Right. Now that makes sense.
You gotta drop the weights off like Rock Lee.
Let's see.
Then he can do it.
Dude, when the whole gang of them showed up, though, that shit was cool.
Yeah.
I said, there's a whole gang of them. He's fucking dead.
No, I love that he was like, okay, so who's first?
Right?
Who's next?
What a fucking badass, dude. Because, I mean, at that point, you're boned, right? Like,
at least, hey, you gotta lean into it. They like single combat. All right, I can take you one at a time.
Right. That shit's funny, dude. I love it. And then, of course, we had the classic in every action movie: jump away at the flames from last second. Like,
yeah. Oh, did you see his trophy room? All the skulls and shit.
I did. I seen the one that looked almost like Alien.
Yeah, that was
I was like, is that supposed to be a xenomorph?
It was supposed to be like a nod at the xenomorph.
That's cool. My question is, why the fuck was the King Voodoo in there?
I guess he was the strongest man he faced, so he was taking the place of men until he ran into Murtaugh, and I guess he was gonna replace him if he got him.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Cause yeah, he had killed a few humans at that point, but there was only
one human on the
shelf. Yeah. That makes sense. That because he did fucking fight his ass man to man with a sword.
Yeah.
And we don't know like how fucked up he got or like whatever. So maybe it was a pretty good fight, and he was like, "Oh, that guy, that was a good one. That was a good hunt."
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Dude, when he came out at the end, that fucker was ashy. Oh my god. That fucker looked like he had been like 10 feet undercover, dude. Like that.
You need some lotion.
Something, dude. That fucker. Oh my god, bro. Yeah. I had to, because obviously they powdered his whole fucking body with that shit.
Right.
I wonder what if like got into his mouth and shit. Like, oh, they overdid it on some of that. But I guess he was in a fucking explosion and covered Nash when he got up.
Right.
But that shit looked funny. I said, "Ooh, that's too much." It's like in his lips and stuff. Like he's probably eating it on set. Overall, though, yeah, it was a cool movie. I liked it a lot more than
I
the first one.
I think I still like the first one more just because it was more concise. This one just felt all over the place.
A little
Um,
bit, yeah. I think
I
it's
like the guys more in the first one. Outside of Leona. Leona had personality enough for everyone in this movie.
shit. You don't
Uh,
think the Country Boy had some?
no, I didn't like Country Boy until like towards the end. I was like, I don't like Country Boy.
He grew
No,
on
that's
me.
a lie. I liked when he was chasing after the cop car. That whenever Murtaugh's character, or not Murtaugh, but fucking Harrigan. His name's Harrigan in this movie. When he got in the car with the Jamaicans, and he
Right.
was like, "You want me to follow you? I'll call you. You sure you want me to follow you? I'll call you." And then he was like starting to try to count or
Did the license plate?
the license plate. He was trying to read. Fuck.
Right. He's
Yeah,
trying to be a super cop.
He had a little personality. Yeah, okay, never mind. I liked him and Leona.
Right. He didn't have enough lines. I think that's his only
Yeah.
thing. But he got a lot during the lines that he had. That fucker said, "Hey, I gotta go do some real cop business. I'll see you later."
Good
He said, "Dude, back off. It's my sister, bro." He said, "Sorry, you're not really my sister. Oops. How did I forget?" So
Well, you're not my
stupid.
sister.
I fucking love it, bro. Like, funny guy. I think if he'd got a little bit more lines, but then yeah, we had the best friend, I guess, who we can assume is the best friend.
Right.
He got nothing, which sucks.
Yeah.
Then the question is, do you need to have two best friends, right? Or I guess it's not a new best friend, but a new partner. It's like I don't know. What do you do? Because there's too many
That's
plot
his
threads.
rookie. That's his rookie on his squad.
Right.
He's teaching him the ropes.
Shit, he was a decorated dude. He didn't even need the ropes.
Yeah, but he didn't never work this place. He didn't never work the war zone.
He said it like that too, and he's giving the speech. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, no, I liked him and Leona. I liked the.
Yeah, they were good. They were really good.
They needed more screen time.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Yeah, but they yeah, no, I think I'm gonna rate this one just slightly under the first one, just because of like the clutteriness.
Right. I like this one more, I guess, just because of the
The
fact
special
that
effects in this one's better though.
oh, of course,
Definitely.
yeah, that's just technology, right?
Right. Yeah.
I definitely like this. I think I like the second one more, not much more. But
Yeah.
I think I like it more because it's giving me some juice, some meat and potatoes, all the way throughout. Even though a lot of it is like a little short-lived, a little cluttered, overall throughout the whole movie, I at least had something to like glue my eyes to the screen and be like, yeah, something's happening, things are going on. And the first one, outside of their just blowing the fuck out of that camp, like nothing. A lot of it was just like stuff is happening, I guess. They're here, they said words, but it feels like half of the first movie could just be cut completely, and I'd still have just as good of a time. I at least enjoyed the first half of this movie enough. They both struggle from the same thing, though, the same syndrome of, here's a bunch of fluff, now the cool shit starts.
Right.
But I think I like this fluff more than the first fluff, because the first fluff felt a little empty to me. But I think I do agree that the guys were cooler. They were much cooler action hero guys in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, you know, it sucks you don't get those guys, but I did like I think it's because they're not really comparable, right? This one, the first one has army guys in the jungle as like the front for the Predator and the behind. This one has buddy cop movie as a front to get to the Predator. So
Right.
really, I don't think we wouldn't compare buddy cop and action hero in the jungle normally. So I guess it's hard to compare both of those
Right.
anyway. So they're probably both just as good. It just depends on, you know, what you're feeling that day, right?
Yeah.
Because I could agree with you that definitely the fucking action jungle hero is
This one
cool
did have
bit.
more characters in it to juggle too, because they were trying to show King Willie and some of the Jamaicans got a lot of got some personality, even though most of them were just caricatures. But
Right.
El Scorpio is the best character.
Dude, I seen that fucker. He's awesome. The fucker.
Coke the fuck out and said, El Scorpio is ready!
Yeah, dude. He fucking just It's cool. He has a fucking scorpion container for all his coke too. Oh my god. And the other fucker walks in. He said, just a look on his face. He looks like, oh shit, here we go. Slaps a handful of coke on his face and just fucking gets ready to go shoot a bunch of cops. Oh my god. That scene was cool. That whole like intro part was cool. It had nothing to do with the movie in a weird way.
It was showing you the badass of these cops. How like what do they fight every day? They fight gangs all the time.
I guess
war zone.
The coolest part was the intro for the main dude, though. I will say they did a really good job. Not a really good job because I think really good. I could think of some things maybe I would like more in like a perfect Predator movie. Right. But in terms of like his introduction as a cop, but showing that
was
he's
Leona's introduction. What are you talking about? She was the first one we saw.
I don't remember.
Yeah, she was the very first one that we saw on the scene, first cop.
But she didn't do nothing. She just was complaining. What the fuck are we gonna do, huh? Just bitching.
Yeah.
But yeah, he shows up. He's smart. He's already shown to be smart, resourceful. When he says, "Give me the fucking things," and he gets like the bulletproof things to provide cover with the car sideways. He's shown to be dexterous when he drives the car perfectly to where he needs to go.
Right.
Fearless. They really showed a lot of skills that elevate this motherfucker beyond the average human, right?
Right.
Obviously, you could do better in other ways to show this like superior being who's like this fucking badass human, like some John Wick style human, right? But I don't think you need all that. Whatever. I think the way this movie was set up, I liked how realistically badass he was. Because he was about the peak of badassery you can get before devolving into just action hero crazy bullshit, right?
That's what I want.
It's true, though. It's fucking true. Like, when I think about... What is that one with Jackie Chan? Where he's, like, in the dude's fucking backyard? The Foreigner, I think?
Yeah.
That shit? Listen, dude. Holy... that fucker's going crazy. He's making bombs. He's doing some other shit. He's in the fucking outside, like, living in the woods and shit, doing cool stuff, making traps. I fucking love that shit. That superhuman level of, like, the craziest tactical super genius who's super strong and fighting at everything. I love that shit. But I think in a way, maybe it does need that. I think that, because that's what I wanted. I think when I think about the Perfect Predator movie, I want to see those two fuckers go toe-to-toe the whole time. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I really want. I want...
Is from beginning to end, it's the good shit. It's the Predator shit.
Right. That's what I want.
Predator's looking for the perfect fight. The movie's it's spinning its fucking wheels trying to find who to fight.
Right. No, I definitely agree. Because yeah, if you put like any of those fuckers, right? What was his name? Liam Neeson from Taken. Jackie Chan from The Foreigner. What's his name? Bourne.
From Bourne Identity.
John Wick. You put any of these fuckers 1v1 in a movie with Predator and just have like I'll give you 20 minutes. You get 20 minutes to set it up, introduce the Predator, why he's there. No, you need longer than that. You need about 15 minutes per character. So you get 30 minutes for the intros. Then you have them meet. Then you have them fight for the rest of the time. And let's just go fucking ape shit for like an hour and a half. Not too long.
That way it's not just like fucking just all out brawl. It goes up and down. Oh, Predator's winning. Oh, he's now got the upper hand. Oh, Predator's about to...
Right. And that's what I want. I want the back and forth. I want the excitement. I want the Predator to bust his ass, or I want him to bust Predator's ass and have him go back and heal up and come back.
Mad Max. You've seen the new Mad Max Fury Road, right?
I haven't.
Well, the movie is fucking action the entire fucking movie, but it is never boring. It never gets too old with the action.
Stale, right?
It never gets stale because it always finds the perfect moments to stop for a second, and then it immediately goes right back like 5 minutes after.
Right.
5-10 minutes after it goes back.
And that's what you need though in any good everything, right? I was about to say any good action movie, but any good anything ever. You need moments to breathe. You need moments to go up, to go down, to do all of those things. And if you don't, and your pacing is off, you're just gonna have a shitty story. Because like you said, if it's just action. More action. Get down. Double the excitement. Get down again. It's like we already got down the first time. I don't want to get down again. Like you can't keep doing that. I think I noticed it. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't a flagrant example. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that was flagrant. But in Superman, when they were fighting at the the small town. I don't know where they were at. But I think it was Superman versus Buff Dude, Lady, and Zod. Maybe just Buff Dude and Lady. Wherever that fight was, that shit took
It was in
forever.
the streets. Yeah, yeah.
It was like 10 minutes long, and it was cool. But at some point, I was like, okay, and it wasn't meaningful because they're not hurting each other. They're not causing damage.
Right.
And you gotta have good pacing, yeah. Because like I want to go watch Mad Max. I guess now it's exciting because I can imagine it was purposeful too. We're after this guy. Okay, well we're after him. He ran. Where the fuck did he go? Give me a good explanation.
That's your sexy boy from Venom 2.
Ooh, I need to see Venom 2. I had some spoilers. It was on TV when I was at my sister's.
Unfortunate.
And I saw a little bit of spoilers, but I was like, it's fine. I didn't watched it, and I don't think it's the kind of movie where spoilers are going to ruin it, because it's just about Venom being fucking cool.
Right.
So, it worked out okay. But anyway, but yeah, like I imagine then the dude gets away. Whichever side is chasing the other gets away. Well, now he's after us. What do we do? Just run. You can't keep running. They're going to find you, or they have something we need. We have to go back for something. That causes them to clash and meet again. Then you get to something you wanted. Well, now you got to something you wanted. Maybe you escape. Now they're going to come back to you to get what they wanted. Then you have to meet for the third time. This is the final time before the resolution. So you have at least multiple occasions where you can start the action, stop the action, have them separate and re-meet back again in meaningful ways without having it feel contrived.
Right.
But that's just storytelling in a nutshell. I don't think I need to explain. Our viewers probably know that shit. Like at this point,
they know more than us.
Listen, you'd probably. I'd be willing to put money that half the people who listen to us.
They're just taking. They watch us as for the drinking game. They have a drinking game where they just take shots every time we say something stupid.
Listen, that'd be fucked. Just imagine. I mean, you put on one of our podcasts every time Trey says some dumb shit or George has to correct him. We take a shot. Oh no.
Shit, I've been getting shit wrong these past couple of times. No, so the past couple episodes.
That is true though, and we have no pretense. So I think anyone that hopefully you guys can appreciate that. We never walk around like we're the best. We're not fucking PhDs in literature, but we think critically and try our best. So
I got a PhD.
PhD's nuts.
I was gonna say a pretty huge.
That's a good one. We're also children, by the way. Like and subscribe.
I didn't say the last word.
It's okay. If our audience isn't children too, then what are they here for? You gotta. What is it? I fucking love that movie. He's the perfect combination of sexy and cute. That's just us. Only children and adult. We're the perfect combination of children and adult.
Yes.
We can sip wine with the best of them and critique movies. We can also get drunk and watch action. Wait, that's country. That's not child. That's funny. But I don't. Do we miss anything? I don't have too much. I think. Let's see. What do we got?
I think that's everything. I'm still probably gonna honestly rate this one lower than the other one.
Right.
As a tradition, I always rate the sequels lower. I'm just playing. I want to give it a 5.
Woo! That's low.
I gave the first one a 5.5, but I kind of want to drop that one down to a fucking 5.1 after having some time away from it.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like these are enjoyable, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I want to rewatch them like crazy.
Right.
I might rewatch them if somebody hadn't seen them, but yeah.
Right. I'd rewatch this one, so that's why I'm giving it more. I don't think it deserves like a high rating, but I think it's funny because it's like you say, well, they tried this, and this. So in this situation, I'm going to give them a lot more credit than they executed on because of how much they tried, because of the stuff with Jerry, Leona, like because of all the stuff they did with like the little bits of, really trying to make the series its own. Even the horror bits, I didn't like how some of it dropped the ball, but there were a lot of really well done horror bits that were like integrated really well. And I was like, they really tried to make this a full experience and not dudes with guns and a predator. And I appreciate that step, and I think what would be the right direction. But it's not too great. Maybe a 6. I think 6 sounds fair, but I have these rose-colored glasses that I want to give it a 6.5. I know for a fact it does not deserve near a 7. Especially considering the first half of the movie is not that great in terms of like cohesion and what it does for the actual Predator plot.
Yeah.
It's hard, dude. This is hard to do. It was much easier for me to shit on the first one, I think. I got this weird soft spot for this one. I'm gonna give it a 6.5 with a ask me in a week, and it'll drop to 6 maybe.
Yeah.
But good movie though. Good movie overall. I'm excited. So I want to see where they're going from here. Cause think about it. If the first one was dudes with guns and a predator, this one is developing more horror bits, more developed characters, more setting, more plot, more stuff, more world building. I mean, number 3 has to be like great, right?
Number 3 didn't come out until after AVP. And I
Interesting.
think they went away from the horror bit because the horror bits didn't do well
Ah,
commercially.
interesting.
I don't know if they were trying to compete with Alien with this one, with like that nod to Alien with the trophy. Like, oh yeah, Predator is better.
Right.
Uh,
Possible. It could have been what spawned that feud or that not feud, almost that the conjoining of
that
these
want to
two.
like, yeah, it was like kind of like the rivalry with Freddy vs Jason.
Right.
I think one of them made a nod to the other one, and then that made the other movie do a little nod to the other one, and
Right.
then
And they become synchronicity without.
then everybody was like, oh, we want a Freddy vs Jason movie, and they said, all right, we're gonna make that, and then some shit happened, plans fell through, and then they both made a separate movie away from each other, but they didn't even give each other nods, so people were like, no, it's never gonna come out, and then it finally came out.
Right.
So
I mean, we did just say though that I guess our perfect one would be Action City.
right,
So I guess that's fine. That's fair, right? That is a step
yeah,
in the right direction if that's honestly ultimately what we want. I guess.
yeah.
And I'm not going to say I'm a Predator
I think you
fan.
could make a really good Predator horror movie, but they have to step away from a lot of the things that makes a Predator movie a Predator movie. At least what we've seen from these 2 movies so
Yes,
far.
it'd be a totally
Um,
different direction. Not
right,
totally different. It'd be how do you say a branching road, right?
right. It'd be filmed in a different way because
You're right.
these 2 are both still filmed more like action cities.
Right.
Um, so you'd have to film it in more like not serene. What's the word I'm looking for? Just
I almost said peaceful, but like yeah,
yeah. It was like um. But slow, just fucking. You got to make a lot of tension, and you can't show what the predator is doing all the time, which is what these movies want to do. They want to show the predator a lot.
right.
Um,
That's the fear. Is what the fuck is he doing? Where is he at? What's going on?
right.
Think about a lion in
Ooh, I'm excited. I
what?
did not know he direct. Oh, did he not direct it? What the hell is this? Okay, no. I thought for a second it said Robert Rodriguez. Um, whatever. That's fine. The next movie has some actors I'm excited to see. Kind of. We'll
Ooh.
see. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I'm excited. I think it's only trending up. I think this now at this point, 2010 I think it comes out, right?
Yeah, it came out 2010.
So yeah, the series has had time to develop. The fan base has had time to give feedback on what they appreciate. And, you'd think that's only going to trend up, right?
His fucking name in this movie. When we get there, we'll get there. We'll get there. Oh, he is. Okay, yeah, he is a producer. Robert Rodriguez is a producer. I thought he was a director on the movie. He was the director, but he's just a producer.
Right.
Fine. I'll take it.
It depends because those things are a producer is supposed to produce, right?
Yeah, but
They're
I hate it whenever like a trailer for a movie will be like from Robert Rodriguez or like from George R. R. Martin, and it's not even something he's involved in. It's just something that's tied to him in a way.
right.
So like they made George R. R. Martin had a book series or a book called Night Flyers, and they made a show on Night Flyers that he I guess forgot that he had already sold the rights to Night Flyers to the Sci-Fi Channel.
Uh-huh.
Because he had sold all the rest of the rights he had to all his other books to HBO. But I guess that one specifically, he had sold it to the Sci-Fi Channel like years ago, and whenever like his stuff started blowing up, whenever Game of Thrones started blowing up, they started making they weren't just sitting on their hands on that fucking IP, and they're like, we need to make a thing with his name on it.
Right.
So when it came out, it said from George R. R. Martin. I was like, hey, and I was like, oh wait, he's not involved. It's probably not good.
Right. Yeah, it just
It's
depends.
okay.
I think producer, director, right? It just depends on what studio you're working for and how they delegate those responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
Because director is supposed to direct the vision if it would ever go off course.
Right.
They're not writers necessarily. They didn't write the script, but they have an idea of where it should go. And then if it goes off course or while they're filming, they can say, let's make a pivot here, let's make a pivot there. They're supposed to be visionaries in a way. And
Right.
producers are supposed to produce. They're supposed to say, oh, you need this? Got it. You need this? I got it. Oh, we need a set? I talked to these guys. I got us a beautiful set in this area.
Pretty much producers do, but producers oftentimes do have a lot of input on scripts and
Right.
actor choices and stuff like that. as
Right.
well.
Half the time the
But a lot-
producer
but
is
some
picking
the
all
time
of
it's
it.
Just, yeah, but a lot of times it's just they're just given the money as well.
Right.
Or it comes from an IP that they had owned in the past.
Right. So, hey, high hopes, man. If he's a producer, but he's like one of those I'm super involved producers, it might come out with more of the flavor you're looking for.
Right.
But before we keep you guys too long, we'll just edit that out, right?
No, we can let it.
Just
You
fucking-
nasty fucker.
Dude, couldn't help it. I got a little bubbly. Sorry about that.
Oh, the bubbly? It's not for me.
We'll fix it in post. Don't worry. They'll never see it.
The
But
bubbly
yeah,
is not for me.
before, I guess not before. Yeah, before we leave, as is tradition, like and subscribe because engagement is good.
Leave an angry comment or dislike the video. Engagement is good.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye bye.